Johnny Bones Jones retains his light heavyweight title with a split decision victory over Thiago Santos. This is the Battle Camp. Please hit the subscribe button. You'll find it at the bottom right hand corner of your screen. So like I said, it was a split decision win, and this is how the judges had it. It was 48-47 on two of the judges' card for John Jones, and one of the judge had it 48-47 for Santos. Me personally, whilst I was watching the fight, and this is a bit of a disclaimer, because BT Sport, the absolute cunts, had this on pay-per-view, I had to watch this on a stream, and during every round there was a couple of occasions where the footage froze and then it caught back up, so I missed a couple of seconds. So obviously I missed certain pieces of the action, but not enough for me to think that how I saw the fight is wrong. Do you know what I mean? So the way I saw the fight, I had Santos winning. If I'm honest with you, I had Santos winning. I had him winning rounds 1, 2, and 5. I had John Jones winning round 3, and I had the fourth round as even, a 10-10 split. I couldn't really give it to him. No one really done anything in that fourth round for me to say, right, you deserve that round. Even if you give that round to Jones, Santos still wins it on my card. Not that I'm a fucking judge, but yeah. So what is that? I think that's 49-47 to Santos. I had this fight, and it was surprising, man. I was very impressed with Santos. Even though he didn't get the decision, he proved me wrong in terms of what I said in my preview video. I said there's no chance in hell that Santos would win this fight, and I didn't say this in the video, but I thought if Santos was going to win this fight, it would be with a knockout punch. You know, I wouldn't say a fluke punch, but a punch that John Jones didn't see coming, and he gets a knockout, and that's how I thought that was literally the only way I thought Santos would win this fight. But what actually happened is Santos outfought John Jones, in my opinion, and Santos outpointed John Jones, and that didn't even register on my scale of potential outcomes. I just didn't think there was any way possible that Santos could beat Jones in a technical fight and outpoint him. But that's essentially, in my opinion, what happened. After the fight, I was a little, because I watched the Dana White, the post-fight press conferences, and I saw Dana White when he said how the judge that scored it for Santos shouldn't be judging or something along those lines. He kind of felt like John Jones was a clear winner. I'm not sure how much of that is his opinion or how much of that is him thinking about what he wants John Jones to be involved in next, and the fact that he doesn't want there to be a rematch with Santos because he already has a plan in his mind in terms of John Jones fights the winner of, you know, Cormier or Miocic or something like that. I don't know. But I think I was a little bit surprised. Well, not surprised because it's Dana White, but I just don't agree with how wide he thought that John Jones won the fight by. Looking on Twitter at people that are kind of prominent in the sport, Brett Okamoto had Santos winning this fight. I think Luke Thomas had John Jones winning. I don't agree with it. And here's why I don't agree with it. Because, yeah, John Jones was coming forward. Yeah, John Jones was putting the pressure on Santos. But he wasn't doing anything with it. And the strikes that he was landing weren't really that effective. Obviously, they're effective. Every strike's effective. But there wasn't much consequence to the strikes that he was landing. There was nothing that he landed, apart from the third round, where it was a damaging blow to Santos. Whereas on the other hand, Santos, when he landed, there was a few occasions where he landed flush with punches. I think he landed a head kick at one stage, and those were knockout blows. It's just John Jones has got a really good chin that he was able to withstand that power. Does that make sense? Whereas I can't remember occasions apart from the third round where John Jones was able to land strikes on Santos that were that effective. Do you know what I mean? Were power? There were no power strikes that I saw John Jones landing on Santos. And also during the fight, Santos he hurt his left knee in the second round, I believe. Well, he says he hurt it in the first round, but we first saw the effects of it in the second round, where he kind of buckled as he was moving. And you have to think to yourself, if that didn't happen, like how would this fight have played out? Because for me, the biggest rounds, or the widest margins in which Santos won a round was rounds 1 and 2. After that, obviously, John Jones won the third round, and the fourth round was even, and Santos came back and won the fifth round, in my opinion. But those last 3 rounds, if that damage to the knee wasn't there, how would this fight have played out? And obviously, fighting's fighting, and people get hurt, and this is just part of the sport. It's not an excuse on Santos's behalf. I'm just speculating. I'm just thinking, like, if that injury wasn't there, how would Santos have performed? I definitely personally believe that Santos deserves a rematch, because it's not a robbery. I don't think that there was foul play in this, and John Jones should never be champion at the moment, and it should definitely be Santos. I appreciate and I acknowledge that this was a very close fight, and it's a lot down to opinion rather than actual fact in terms of what style do you like, what kind of what do you put more weight in terms of the way John Jones fought and Santos fought. But for me, Santos was landing the more effective strikes. Basically, his leg kicks were fucking hellacious. He was throwing some power in those leg kicks, and John Jones was all swollen up. He was in a wheelchair after the fight ended. John Jones was, as was Santos, because of his knee. But yeah, I mean, I'm just very surprised at how this fight played out. Another thing that I'm surprised about is how John Jones didn't even try for a takedown. I thought that all of this talk about him saying how he wants to beat everyone in the facet of MMA that they're best at. He wants to play to his opponent's strengths and still beat them. I thought that was just a cute thing to say before the fight, and I'm not sure whether I necessarily agree with that sentiment after the fight. I just think that John Jones felt the power, and he really didn't want to get in that close. It was almost like he was closing the distance, he was putting pressure on, but when he was just standing at the peripheral of being inside Santos's striking range, and he was standing there because he's longer and trying to basically strike at that distance, and Santos was stepping forward, pushing off that bum knee and trying to land big fucking haymakers and stuff like that, and he did on a couple of occasions. It was a weird fight, man. I'm really surprised at John Jones' performance. He seemed a bit flat. He didn't seem like his normal dynamic self. He wasn't trying to do any other kind of what's the right word? Creative striking that we've seen him do in the past. No spinning elbows, no elbows in close. Well, not that many. There was, I think, the third round he did throw some elbows. But John Jones is a very creative man when he's in the cage and when he's flowing. And I didn't feel like he was flowing. And I don't know whether that's down to Santos's ability to negate John Jones' strengths. I don't know whether John Jones just didn't realise Santos was as good as he is, because I fucking didn't. And I feel like John Jones' flatness might have a lot to do with how good Santos performed in that fight. I really didn't expect Santos to be so disciplined in, utilising the whole space of the cage, always moving, always being on his toes, but also striking so effectively, like throwing those leg kicks in when he saw an opportunity, throwing punches straight down the middle and hooks as well when he saw an opportunity. I thought Santos was a bit more kind of one-dimensional in the way he was able to attack and his offensive skills, and I thought he would just be more kind of plodding forward, cumbersome, and just basically, I thought he was just made for John Jones and John Jones' style. I thought John Jones would style on him. I thought John Jones would beat him with absolute ease, and obviously that wasn't the case, because I felt like Santos won that fight, which is well done to Santos, man. What a fight. He went in there, and probably, apart from Gustafsson in the first fight with John Jones, that's probably the best performance we've seen by any fighter against John Jones. And it was fucking Thiago Santos, the guy that I was questioning whether he deserved to be in there with John Jones. His route to the title shot, I questioned the guys that he beat to get there. I questioned the fact that the light heavyweight division is probably at its weakest it's been in a long time, and I felt that he was just a guy that was there through circumstance rather than actual achievement, and that was wrong of me, obviously, quite clearly. Santos is the real fucking deal, man, and I genuinely believe that this should be a rematch, but like I said earlier, I don't think that's in Dana White's plans. I don't think that's in the UFC's plans, and I don't think it will happen. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. What do you think about this fight? How did you score it? Because I'd be interested to know how you guys scored this fight, because I seem to be in the minority of people, I feel like, that felt that Santos won this fight. I haven't really seen a lot of the post-fight coverage from ESPN, and I know Michael Bisping was there, and Chael Sonnen, and obviously Brett Okamoto and Ariel Helwani's post-fight review. So I'm going to watch that after this video. But yeah, I just want to know how many of you guys thought Santos won this fight. Who gave it to John Jones? If so, what rounds did he score for each of the fighters? Where do you think my kind of analysis of the fight is wrong? Which rounds do you think I gave to Santos that should be John Jones's, and vice versa? I'll be really interested to know your thoughts. Like I say, put your thoughts in the comments below. Don't be scared to hit the like button. Share this with a friend. And if you haven't already, please, please, please make sure you subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one.